And hello again, it's Kimmy Moon. So I'm showing you how to do the split screen. In the last video, I was demonstrating how you can increase your writing space so that you can have more room to see your document or do a complete full screen so you have distraction-free typing. I did not go over when you're in your full screen, you can turn the typing setting off and on so you can hear the typewriter sounds. I'm not going to demonstrate that right now though. It's the information is in the guide, you know, to tell you how to do it. So if you want to turn it off and on, you can, and then it would show up, that sound would show up as you're typing. So as you can see on this screen, there are two windows, and both windows have the exact same thing. With Wavemaker, you can open more than one instance of Wavemaker, but it has to be the same project. So if I close either of these, then the project is going to close. So if you're using this feature, just make sure that you have saved it before you finish with it so that it doesn't accidentally close when you're working in one side of this or the other. The plus side, I suppose, is that this sort of mimics what Scrivener does when it allows you to see two things at once. So if I want to go in and open the book I'm working on this side, I would need to come over and I can navigate to find, you know, I guess make a new section. So let's do it that way. So I could make a new section, which is going to give me a blank document. Then I can come over to this side and I can either copy and paste something into that segment, or I can pull up the instructions. So let's say I want to see how to trying to see where's something that makes sense here. Okay, well, so how do I decrease the size? Okay, so up here will tell me that I can use the push pen icons or the typewriter icon. So over here, I can turn this off and then have a small writing space, in which case maybe I'm trying to indicate new cards, right? And so I can add a card over here, which gives me more room to work on the card while I'm over here reading, you know. So it still gives you the split screen, and it opens and closes your navigation bar. So this is pretty much one way that you could do this to be able to see both sections or multiple sections. So just like I could turn that back on, which is going to make the card kind of shrink down, and then go over to the navigation bar. And let's say I want to go out completely. So I'm going to go up to open this for a moment. Oh, before I do that, if you go up to the top, you see how that just popped down where you get your partial or your split or your full or your float. Now, I don't know if all browsers do this, but the browser I'm using does this. You can make this split and create the same split screen effect as the one I'm doing. The way that I did this was to go back to Wavemaker and just open two instances of Wavemaker. So I don't know if that's going to show up on the side if I click on it or not. Let me see. Where is it? Okay, it's not. Here it is. Okay, so if I click on Wavemaker, it gives me the option to add or open another card, right? So that's how I did that on here. But you can just do it with the split screen that's in the menu by clicking split screen, and then it's going to, of course, let you open two separate windows. And it doesn't have to be two Wavemaker windows. I can open one in like my word processor and then the other one in Wavemaker, copy and paste or whatever I need to do with it, and then, go back to it. So now the other thing is you can look at the instructions on one side while you're writing on the other side. And you can also see the same thing on both sides. So if I want to open both the same folder or the same document, I can go up here on this one. Now to get back to that document on this side, I would need to go up and expand it so I can see the project name again. So I'm going to open the book, go back to the project I was working on, and then open the section that I was in, and then go back to making this, shrink it down. So hopefully that kind of made sense, and that makes it so I can see the exact same document on either side. Any changes that I make on one side, generally speaking, those changes are going to appear immediately on the other side. So you don't want to get too carried away with making changes in the document unless you want those changes to stay like permanently. So if I just add, blah, blah to the bottom of this one, and then I go back up, let's say to the top of this one, and then I go down to the bottom of this one, see how blah blah showed up over here? So the changes are immediate, okay, just so that you know. Now, one of the other things, because the editing is a little bit limited in terms of, like in some other programs, in some cases you can edit, you can use different methods to edit that I don't think are necessarily available in this program, at least not to the same extent. Like sometimes I will want to edit something out, like in this section right here. Okay, I finished this paragraph. This is kind of a repeat of what this paragraph said initially, because remember, I'll open the raw file, like the original part, and then I'm rewriting it so that it sounds like a novel instead of like my responding in an RP. So given that, there's sections, like this section is a rewrite of this section. But I don't want to exactly just delete that right now, because I want to make sure that the same things that were in this section still show up in the novel. It just has to be rewritten, or it's something I may need to refer to later so I can make sure that I make this point just somewhere else in the story without affecting the story. Now, I also don't want to take it out of context, which is why I left it where it was, because I don't want this to look like, okay, so where was this, or what is, who's Jen? Why is she in this section? And for the purpose of this story, Jen is the person driving. So I want to make sure that that's clear. She's the one who drove them to the concert. Not that this is a big or super important deal, but for congruency and consistency, it would kind of suck if I got rid of all this, forgot that she was the one driving, and then 2 chapters later, in a heated argument or something, Jen is like, well, what are you guys talking about? It's like, oh, the concert we went to. And then Jen's going, what concert? When Jen's the one who drove them, of course she would know what concert. She was there, right? So in story writing, because there is a need for more consistency, to me, I don't just edit things out completely. Normally, I copy and paste things within a document. For this one, that's not really the best idea for the first pass through. So I decided to use the strike through feature, so I know that's where it was, but I'm not leaving this in here. It's just for context. When I have finished writing this so that it reads the way I want it to, chances are I will then cut and paste this into a different document. And because you have the option of making new folders and moving things wherever you want to put them, I can put it there, or I can just copy it into one of the cards. And that way it's not part of the document at all, but I can still reference it if I needed to, so I remember who was at the concert. Okay, hopefully that kind of makes sense. At least that's what I think is an easier way to do this. You know, as I said, if you're like, depending on your writing style, if you're a plotter or a planner and all that, then you probably don't have to do what I just did. There's a good chance that you probably have an outline that already told you who is going to do what and where and when. And so you would just reference that. Because I'm more of what they call a pantser and discovery writer, this is an easier way for me to quickly see as I write, because I edit as I write. I understand, based on what I'm hearing people say on the internet, that is no longer the cool thing to do. But I'm not really intending to adjust how I write. I'm just wanting to learn to use Wavemaker to accommodate what and how I write. And so far, this program has proven to do just that. It's pretty cool. So anyway, that's how you can get the split screen effect, which is something that that Scrivener offers that most people love. And so I'm just showing you how you do that in Wave. It is not a one button touch like Wave, okay? It's not difficult, you know, don't get me wrong. It's not hard at all. Like I said, it could be one click if you do the split screen using your menu. It can be one click if you're going to Wavemaker and just opening another card, you know, another incarnation of the same thing. And then you just size them. And whenever you go out of it, because if you noticed a minute ago, when I just moved these back to the main menus, I clicked on it to expand it enough to be able to see the menu that goes across the top. Because notice that menu is gone when it goes back into the small mode. It's not there anymore. So to make it appear, I have to expand the screen. But it just automatically goes right back to the size. So I don't have to sit here and you know, play around with it, going back and forth and back and forth. You can just go open whichever one you need to go to. Now, the cool thing is that means that you can access all of the other things that are in, you know, different menus at the same time. Like I said, as long as it's within the same project. Once you cannot go outside of this project in a split screen, but you can stay within the project in a split screen. The other thing that I have found that has worked really well is that I can, once I save, like I can save this file, and then I can download it into Word, which I'll show you on another video. I can open it in my word processor, and everything that's in here is in the word processor, and I can then copy and paste it as needed. So if I make edits and things, I can copy and paste the entire newly edited document into the WAV file. So, you know, that's going to give you a more polished version when you're finished. But as I said, it's not going to save all the formatting. So you'll have most of the formatting, but you're not going to have all the formatting. So when you're done with your WAV file, you're going to have a completed draft that is ready to then be, you know, plugged into something where you can start the polishing, you know, where you're going to measure out the covers and make sure that, you know, the margins are okay for KDP, or and it's not called Instacart, Ingram Sparks, or whatever other formatting you need to do. You'd be able to do that in one of the other documents. You're just exporting it from Wave when you're done writing the entire story. So hopefully that makes sense. And so that shows you your split screen. So that option is available. And of course, the good thing is, those of you who have like attention issues or creative issues or that are easily distracted, this method really does reduce the distraction, because you can look at it just from what's on my screen. There's nothing up here that's going to get you worked up of, oh, let me change the colors. You can't. Oh, let me, make shrink this box and make this one bigger and all. Yeah, you can do that, but it would kind of be pointless because it's only going to give you so much space, and that space is for you to have dedicated writing. Now, since I have this open, I do want to test something real quick. I believe this is going to work, but I'm going to test it. So let's say open this, and then while we're going to go to full screen. Okay, yeah, so it's going to give me a full screen mode in the window that I have open. And so I can see this distraction-free version over here, which is kind of funny. And then I can still see the notes and things, like, I guess in this case, let me move this over. If I needed to go to my cards, which it would normally have all the cards. Remember, this is where you're going to put your character sheets and descriptions and all that. I don't have any of that in here yet because right now I'm putting in the raw file of the original game. And then once I have kind of got a feel for where it's going and how I want him to look, because I think I've already decided there's a few things I'm going to adjust with this character. And so, but I'll show you that as I'm doing it. Like I said, we're writing this novel together. So during this time, you'll get to see the features in real time being used to write in a book. And that's pretty much how this is going to work. Alrighty, so that is the split screen feature in Wavemaker. And yeah, this is the X to get out of, I do mention that. I did go back to update that because I realized once I finished making the last video that I did not explain how you get out of typewriter mode once you're in it. And nor did I explain how these little pen things work in the instruction manual. I told you on the video, but I didn't put it in the instruction manual. So I just finished updating that a few minutes ago as well. All right, so that's it for this, and I will see you in the next one. And once I know the next thing that I will need to do while writing this novel, that'll determine the next topic of discussion. Unless you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the comment section so I'll know what things you want to know about, and then I can show you in the video as I'm doing this, both creating the novel along with creating the instruction book at the same time. Okay, see you in the next one. Take care.